Gallagher contends that the savage and brutal policy General Lee's letter to Seddon was referring to was the fact Lincoln had proclaimed the Africans within Confederate territory to be free. That is, as soon as his armies got their hands on them. In my rebuttal to Gallagher's contention, I mentioned in passing the question whether the subject letter was in fact written in Lee's hand. The National Archives has produced a color scan of what appears to be the original letter. That is, the letter as it was received by Seddon's office and which came into the hands of the federal government as part of the documents in Confederate Adjutant General Samuel Cooper's wagon train that Sherman seized at Goldsboro. This fact is evidenced by the stamp on the document, quote, Rebel Archives, unquote. I have examined many letters that came from Lee personally before the war or from his staff during the war, and therefore have a distinct impression of what his handwriting looks like. Though I cannot exclude Charles Marshall as the person whose script appears on the page of the letter, I think it is more probable than not that the letter is in fact written in Lee's hand. Certain words in the letter, when compared to the same words which appear in other letters, seem consistent with Lee's handwriting, as does the signature. What Lee meant by the language, "save our families from pollution," is anybody's guess. Gallagher wants you to assume there was a causal connection in Lee's mind between Lincoln's proclaiming the Africans in the Confederacy to be ipso facto free and the idea that their freedom per se would result in the Confederate families experiencing pollution. As a verb, to pollute means to corrupt, defile, contaminate. How the mere fact that Lincoln proclaimed the Africans free was supposed to cause a Confederate family to be corrupted, defiled, contaminated, Gallagher does not say. Lee's language also includes the idea that whatever savage and brutal policy he was thinking of, which the enemy had proclaimed, he thought it would result in the Confederacy's social system being destroyed. Certainly, as a plain, objective matter of fact, Lincoln's proclaiming the Africans to be free, if in fact consummated by the Union conquering the Confederacy, would indeed result in the social system of slavery being destroyed. So, construed in this manner, it is reasonable to say that Lee might well have had both prongs of Lee's final Emancipation Proclamation in mind, though the use of such language seems to me out of character for Lee. The language is more that of a politician's than a soldier's.